Welcome to Her Unshakable Confidence with dynamic mother-daughter duo Simone and Olivia Canego, where they discuss the secrets of transformation and how to build bold confidence and unwavering resilience. From intimate conversations with inspiring guests to sharing their personal journeys of triumph and challenge, Simone and Olivia create a supportive space where every woman is encouraged to rise above her fears and love the woman in the mirror. Tune into Her Unshakable Confidence and join this special journey of connection and growth. It's like catching up with old friends who inspire you to be bravely and uniquely you.
And that's not to call anyone out on that's listening that has anxiety. You're not burdensome. You're not you're probably not. I don't know you individually. And I think there are ways that you can be burdensome in other ways, but having anxiety doesn't automatically make you a burden. I think what makes you a burden is not working through it and just choosing to live in that state, because life gets so much better when you realize that your heart doesn't have to be racing 24/7. Or one of my symptoms when I was applying for law school was I was gagging all the time. I don't know why. Life gets so much better when you realize that's not how other people are living, and you don't have to live that way.
Have you ever been around someone so anxious that you start questioning your own breathing patterns? Am I supposed to be this tense too? That's what we're talking about today.
Mom, your anxiety is giving me anxiety.
And you know what? I don't even really feel like I have anxiety.
That is a lie. Oh my God. Oh my God. Why would you just lie to our listeners?
Well, I don't feel like it's traditional anxiety.
Okay, well,
what is
I feel first of all, what is traditional? What does that even mean? You don't know. I don't know. We're not mental health professionals or practitioners. So I'm not going to go on here and tell you that your anxiety is normal or not normal. But you do have anxiety. I think everyone has it. Not in a way, I have an actual diagnosed anxiety disorder, and everyone experiences different aspects of it. Maybe not everyone. Maybe people have such control over who they are as individuals, and they just stress instead.
Yeah, I was going to say, so I feel like I stress. I don't feel like I'm anxious, but I guess I'm wrong. So I guess
you have sleep issues because of your anxiety. That would literally be defined as what that is.
I don't know if it's because of my anxiety, or I feel like there's just that never-ending to-do list. That's anxiety.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
because I thought, you know what, you're right. Not everyone experiences anxiety. No. I thought the way my brain worked for a very long time was how everyone else's worked. No, I was sorely maybe at I have generalized anxiety disorder. I don't know when I was diagnosed with that. A long time ago. But so mine is not triggered by anything specifically, just kind of my state of being. But I also had over the years developed really great coping mechanisms. I'm on anti-anxiety medication, which does wonders. And I don't know, I think though, the whole idea of anxiety, your anxiety giving me anxiety, it's very prevalent in my life, because when someone else stresses and I'm not stressing, I tend to think, okay, well, I need to be stressing. And I'm missing something in the equation. If everyone else is stressed, that's actually a hole I dig myself in quite regularly, especially in school, because I'll go into something and be very confident about it and be like, no, this wasn't a hard topic. This was fine. I get it. And then everyone else is like, what do you mean? I didn't understand this at all. I'm like, oh, wait, did I not get it? Did I not do the right thing? Am I far behind? Am I not doing this correctly? And then you just get into this, what's the right word? A thought loophole where you can't pull yourself out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And I do see how I can give you anxiety. If I'm stressing about something, whatever we're going to call it, then I definitely, my tone of voice changes. Yes. I become much more patient. And that makes you guys okay, stop freaking out.
Yeah. I think the last couple of days, I've been telling her to stop being so reactionary towards things that aren't that big of a deal.
I know, but sometimes to me, they are a big deal, right?
Yeah, sure. But what do you always tell me? It's you give advice and don't take it a little bit.
Nobody's giving me advice.
Take a step back.
Yeah, I know. I need to take a step back with certain things. Like today, so we were at our graduation today, and everybody was going different directions. And I just wanted to take a couple of pictures because your dad had to go back to work, and we finally had to take off, and everybody was scattered, so we didn't get any pictures, and that was like frustrating to me. And everybody's like, just chill.
But it's more, and you don't, okay, I think the difference is that you don't express your frustration in like, I am frustrated right now. You get very flustered, and it manifests into this like reactionary, tone of voice, and even like your facial expression will change. And I'm not saying like this is not accusatory at you. We all have our issues. Like, be for real. We can call me out in like 5 minutes or so. But yeah, like I mean, okay, actually, I think, yeah, like you maybe in not a traditional sense, fine. But would you say that your mother has anxiety?
Oh my gosh, 100%.
Okay.
I mean,
So you think it's just skip your generation?
own anxiety. Well, I'm not saying that it's okay. Okay, fine. Okay,
No,
I haven't been formally diagnosed. We'll say it. Sure, Adam. So
I don't know which of our siblings have been and who has not been.
Yeah, I know I stress about certain things. I mean, yeah, I mean, I do. I stress about a lot of things. There's a lot to stress about. There's 6 of you guys. There's something. Oh, there's never one day that it's just quiet or it's calm. And if it is,
But yeah, I was about to
then
say
something else
like,
wrong.
yeah, if I didn't text her for a day, she'd be like, hello, are you dead?
Well, that's something my mom used to do to me. She probably actually still does. But
You do that to her sometimes.
well, lately,
Yeah.
I was like, look at your phone, lady. So, but
She's not a teenager.
I know she's not a teenager, but for you, I think that the reason I say that is because we do text constantly, right? So like if I don't hear from you, it means like the other night I didn't hear from her sister. She calls every day, and she's in Wales. It's not like she's close. And so I didn't hear from her. And then I realized at 10 o'clock I hadn't heard from her, which is then 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, ooh, I hope she's okay. Right. It's just, okay, I guess that's anxiety. I don't know.
Yeah, because you're thinking you're automatically going to the worst case situation instead of, oh, she forgot to text me to go to bed. So I'll give you an example. 2 nights ago, my boyfriend is still in Nashville, and we were out to dinner, and he didn't text me or call me. And when I tried to call him when I got back, he wouldn't answer. So I was like, oh my God, he got hit by a car on the way back from work. Oh my God, something's wrong. The tornado's hitting Nashville right now. I'm not finding anything on the news. And I just go to bed because I'm like, okay, you're being so irrational right now. Like, be for real. Oh, sorry, I was just so sleepy last night. I just fell asleep. I literally so tired. I was like, okay, this is just, it's irrational thoughts. For me, that's, I feel like, how my anxiety manifests. Well, in the mental, like my physical symptoms can be funky. But in the mental way, it just starts with the irrational thoughts. Okay, better example. I'm sitting in court 2 days ago before my grades for law school came out. And I'm in my head, what if I fail and drop out? Mind you, for me to have failed out, I would have needed to get all D's. I did the math, and I still could not get rid of that feeling in my heart.
Yeah.
It would not go away until it was resolved, even though I know it's irrational.
And you got what?
Straight A's.
Yeah.
So it works out fine, obviously.
So yeah, I mean, that definitely makes a lot of sense. I guess I just never thought about it like that for me. I just feel like I get stressed in certain moments, and then I put that stress out to other people. And I know I do. Like I do it with your dad too. Like we'll be driving. Sarah was like, oh my gosh.
What I realized is that our entire family is a bit reactionary.
Yeah.
I don't know the right.
Reactionary.
Yeah. Okay. And
Trying to say reactionatory.
yeah, I was like, is that a word? And I was like, no, no, straight A's. There was a couple of A minuses. Let's be for real. We all immediately, and it's kind of something I've been trying to untrain myself. So me, like, if someone says something that pisses me off, or like, oh my God, they shouldn't have done that, to like take a step back and like, okay, here's a good one for you. Dad loves to say stupid shit just to piss you off.
Yes.
And you have been married for
32 years.
Okay. I don't know how long it was.
Okay.
32 years. And you still fall for it every single time. And you go, Rob, why would you do that?
I don't know.
He does probably like 4 stupid things a year, but says these statements at least like 700 times a year.
I did something really stupid. I'm like, okay, and I'm like,
no, but he'll be like, I ordered $100,000 worth of wine. And you'd be like, Rob, and my mom, obviously he's kidding. Like, obviously he's kidding.
I feel like I don't fall for that as much.
Okay, I'm glad.
You know, I mean, for sure not that. But he also still, I'm not going to say anything.
We love him.
But yeah, we love him. We're not talking about him because he doesn't like when we talk about him.
Except positively.
Yes. He's amazing. But
he's silly.
Yeah, he is silly. But there is a big point. Like, I definitely have had friends in my life where they were, I guess I never thought like I had anxiety because people around me stressed so much more than I did.
Okay.
So
Sure.
I was always considered the calm person, the person that could fix everything. Like, that was kind of my quote unquote role among the friends group. Like, you call Simone if you have an issue, call Simone, she'll be able to fix it.
And how did that burden affect you?
I think it stressed me out even more.
Yeah. Especially when you don't have someone else that you think you can rely on as well.
Yeah. And you know what? So I rely on you a lot, but you don't like that anymore.
No, it's fine. Sometimes I just get agitated.
Yeah. Like, I'll be like, hey, can you watch this for me? Or can you read this for me? And she's like,
Okay, I feel like the last couple of weeks,
do this.
the last couple of weeks, I've just been trying to veg post-semester. And I'm back in the swing though. I have so much work to do now. It's insane.
But the point of me asking you was because you didn't have anything going on. And
Yeah, but I want to do that. It's different. My brain is now on the working brain again. See, you're giving me anxiety.
See? Yeah. I mean, but I would say that I have been around plenty of people who I feel like are very anxious. And then you do feel more anxious when, people that are anxious.
And that's not to like call anyone out on that's listening that has anxiety. You're not burdensome. You're not. Like, and I mean, you're probably not. I don't know you individually. And I think there are ways that you can be burdensome in other ways. But having anxiety doesn't automatically make you a burden. I think what makes you a burden is not working through it and just choosing to live in that state, because life gets so much better when you realize that your heart doesn't have to be racing 24/7. Or like, one of my symptoms when I was applying for law school was I was gagging all the time. Like, I don't know why. Life gets so much better when you realize like that's not how other people are living and you don't have to live that way.
Yeah, I think you can definitely, there are definitely things that, I mean, there's so many tools now. I mean, and to be able to work through things, I guess, yeah, for me, I feel like I have something in the moment and then I work through it and then it's better. So yeah, I guess I need to look at it more. But do you have friends around you that make you more anxious?
I've had friends.
Yeah.
I mean, I try not to be in situations like that because I'm so prone to being anxious. And Emma, my older sister, we both have anxiety. We're the exact opposite ways that we handle it. So when and like schoolwork is, I think, our prime example. So when I get an essay assigned, I have to work on it every single day before it is due. And even if it's just like I set a time limit in my head, okay, 300 words today. So without doing that though, like, I don't think I'd have enough time. Even if I started it a week before it's due, I would still in my head be like, there's not enough time in my day to finish this. So I have to be very meticulous with how I do things. Her, on the other hand, exact opposite. She's a crammer and she's good at it. I am not, but she can do it all in the last minute. And like, being around her and studying with her, that gives me anxiety.
Yeah. So I'm also very much a planner when it comes to work, and I don't like waiting to the last minute on anything. That absolutely stresses me out, gives me anxiety. But yeah, and that's how she thrives, and it almost takes me out.
Yeah, I literally even hearing about it, I'm like, oh, she's across the world, literally an ocean away. I'm like, Emma.
And she's staying up the whole night and finish something, and you're like,
why'd you do this to yourself? But like, she's fine. She does it. She gets it done. One of the things though, I will say, the idea of being a meticulous planner, that did not come naturally to me. That was something like a coping mechanism and a tactic that I developed because of my anxiety. Because I realized like, this is not the state of being I want to live in. What are ways I can make this better? Pre-planning, talking to people when I feel this way. If like, I think even if I had this irrational thought, or like, oh, are they mad at me? That's a very regular one of mine. I just talk to them. And most of the time it's like, why? No, like not at all. Why would I even think about that twice? So it's just like, it is coping. Because it's not like, I can't be cured of this.
I want to go. I want to go back for a second to the story about your sister and that thriving on the last minute stuff. There's actually studies that show. I think there's a study out of Stanford that shows that people that wait to the last minute to do their work, they get that same rush as you do when you ride a roller coaster. It's something ridiculous like that. Like so, and they don't know how to change their patterns. We'll see. She said like she's going to do it different next year for school, but that those kinds of things, it's definitely, you can see like why people, I mean, everybody's different, why people do things different ways, but it's also having that ability to take a step back in those moments and say, okay, she does things differently. It should not affect how I feel.
Yeah. One of the parts of growing older, lol,
She's 22.
yeah, that I have loved is that we are actually all so unique. Like, it's not just something you tell your kids growing up, oh, you're like a little snowflake. No, like, we are actually so unique. And you can't do something the same way I can. I can't do something the same way you can.
Yeah. And neither one is right. Neither one is
Nope.
wrong.
No,
different.
because we're usually 99% of the time we're getting to the same end result. And that's kind of what matters. And your journey on the way is your journey. And it's yours to live and experience and figure out for yourself.
Yeah. And, this conversation makes me really pause and think, okay, how am I going to, even just through the rest of my day today, how am I going to go through the rest of my day differently? Like, she has friends coming over where Noah just had his graduation. We're cooking a big dinner. And, my mom, and I'm going to say this before, like, they're like, oh, she's so scattered. No. So my mom, when she would invite us over for dinner, it would always be amazing. And there would always be a freak out during it.
Yes.
Because she couldn't handle the pressure of cooking for a big group. And then she never felt like it was good enough or the timing wasn't right. And so she would get herself so worked up over stuff. And we're like, it's great. Take a breath. We don't know what you're upset about. And it seemed to happen almost.
Yeah. And I think it's, looking back at those moments, you don't even remember what actually triggered you in that moment 99% of the time, but you remember the anxiety attack and the panic attack that happened because of it. And I mean, it's figuring out like coping and, grandma, what if building an extra time, like an hour into her time, or just realizing like, I know it's hard to say just realizing we're family. We're going to love your food no matter what, grandma. It's going to be good.
And it's the asking for help. That was the thing that she'd be like, no, I got it. Well, we're all capable of jumping in. We're all capable of helping. And I feel like and again, I'm overthinking, but that she felt like if she wasn't doing it all, then she wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
And I don't see it like that at all.
And she grew up in a very different era with very different parents.
Yeah.
And, where, you were, especially for women, you had to do it all yourself to be this perfect housewife. And on top of that, she was fully a doctor.
Yeah, she worked full time.
But
and she was cook meals every night. And
I'll say one of the things that I should do more is ask for help before I get to those moments, because I usually find myself in those moments of pure anxiety attack, pure panic before I can like, okay, you know what? Let me just ask somebody. And I should have that is definitely something I feel like I'm continuously learning, that people want to help you. I don't have to wait till it's super bad, I guess.
So the reason I tell that story is because, again, cooking dinner tonight, like I don't ever look at dinner and think, oh my gosh, this is so stressful. Even Thanksgiving, when we're cooking for like 40 people.
No.
I truly enjoy it. I mean, typically I don't love cooking, but I love cooking for people, right?
Yeah. Well, I think
you guys aren't people, but
food is a love language.
Yeah.
Both of us, I would say, for our entire family.
But thinking back to, so I'm not going to stress what I'm cooking tonight at all, but when I'm thinking back to my mom, and I think part of the issue was my dad was an amazing human, but he added to her level of stress.
Oh, yeah.
So he wasn't the one that would calm her down. So, for example, your boyfriend, when you breathe out, he calms you down.
Yeah.
You know,
It's very good at it.
Rob will do the same for me. Like, okay, what are you doing? Like,
Take a deep breath.
take a breath. You're fine. Whereas my dad would just add and make it more difficult for my mom to be able to kind of take a step back and say, okay, this is not a big deal. It was a different time. Like, he had expectations, right? He grew up in a time where he would sit at the dinner table and she would bring him food.
And yeah,
And so if it was late, it's, ooh,
Yeah.
But I think like they fed off of each other in those
and I think those are, and like, obviously my grandma and Papa, I'm not going to be like, that's an unhealthy relationship. They were married for, I don't actually know how long, until when he passed away, and a lot of other amazing aspects of those relationships. But I do think it is important when you find yourself just feeding off of someone's anxiety to like separate yourself from this and kind of look at the relationship and be like, is this just one built off of commiserating about how we feel? Or is there something truly deeper in there? And then that would be the time to set these boundaries and be like, this is not healthy for either of us. We're not doing well. And, like, sometimes setting boundaries does not work and you lose a friendship. But it has to be like, you're allowed to be selfish. You are so allowed to be selfish sometimes. I mean, a lot of the time. And we need to learn to prioritize ourselves more and remove ourselves from situations that just, feed into our mental health.
Yeah.
Also, there is a difference. I want to go back earlier to like being a burden. Now that I think about it, there's a difference between like having someone to empathize with you and having someone that will absorb your anxiety. And, I think one of the most powerful things to me, so I didn't feel like a burden on my relationships, whether that was friendships with my boyfriend, with my parents, was finding a therapist and finding someone that they don't carry the weight afterwards of what I told them.
Mm.
They get, the hour session I do. And that's not kind of how I treat therapy. I do it as my like little rant sessions of the day. And I get all of it out and I feel better. And they don't have to walk away carrying all these burdens on them.
I really never thought about it like that, but I think that's a really valid point. Like I know sometimes when I have conversations with any of you guys and something isn't going right in your lives, and it's hard as a parent to be able to look at it from a 30,000 foot view, because you're like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad. Like, they're really struggling. How do I fix it? How do I fix it?
And a lot of the times we are just looking for someone to vent to and empathize with us rather than how do I fix it?
Right. And I think that is one big thing I've realized, is that you can't fix everything. And most of the time when one of you guys is struggling, it's the listening piece. And someone else was saying this to me recently, that she now asks her kids, do you just want me to listen or do you want advice? And I thought that was a really valid way of saying it, because you don't always want advice. Sometimes you do.
Yeah,
but
sure.
sometimes you just want to be able to say it and be able to get it off your chest and then move forward.
Yeah. Because bottling up your emotions is not ever good. Literally never. It's never good. So I think finding that person that you can vent to, but that you also they won't absorb, like I said earlier, is the best way to move forward, whether that is, a close confidant or just a therapist. Highly recommend therapy. It has really helped me with my relationships and how I process things.
Yeah. And I think what you said earlier, I mean, I'm really going to take this to heart. Like, when I feel frustrated, say, I feel frustrated now because, instead of just changing my tone of voice and being like, oh my gosh, you guys.
That's, my boyfriend was a psych major in college and he has very much taught me how to communicate in that way instead of just immediately because I was such a reactionary kid. I was such an angry kid. And a lot of the times I just like wanted to say it and I just didn't know how to. And I've realized if I say it just like, this is why I am upset, instead of being upset, it's so much more impactful. The situation normally gets resolved and I feel better. I don't feel like I lost my shit on someone. I don't feel like I ruined the day just because I had an issue.
Yeah. And also, I think a lot of times we don't know what someone else's issue is, what they're struggling with. And so we make these assumptions. And again, when we can use our words, it's like when we're in kindergarten, use your words, use your words. And now that I'm 53, I've got to be told to use my words, comes full circle. Next
Sometimes
thing you're going to be changing my
they make an ass out of you and me.
Yeah, right.
Okay, that was a wow. Wow. Okay.
She was giving me like great advice, and I'm like,
Diapers.
diapers. Yeah.
I'm not changing new diapers.
I changed yours.
I guess that's fair. It's very valid. It's fine.
And it's interesting because, and again, like your brother with his anxiety, it's quiet anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Like he doesn't share things. He doesn't speak up, and you know that he's anxious.
You can see it in his face. But me, on the other hand, it's a full body reaction. It is.
She is. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And that like goes back. So we don't know what anyone's going through. We don't know how our words can affect an individual, but also like it's also not our job to walk on eggshells until that person tells you to.
Yeah. So it's an interesting thing. We've had people say, oh, he's so quiet. Like he's not interested, or he's just quiet. Like that's him. And so we instantly judge people. I know we're going off track a little bit here, but we instantly judge people because we think that they're too much, or they're not enough, or right.
Yeah, I think you're talking about Ari, right?
Yeah.
We are polar opposites, and he's probably been described as the quiet, introverted kid for most of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been told the exact opposite. I don't know if I'm extroverted, but I'm very loud. I've been told I'm too much. I know that he's been told that he's not enough.
Right.
So it's a weird balance of like,
I mean, not by me.
No, oh my God, never by her. But a weird balance of I wanted to be like him, and I don't know if he wants to be like me, but maybe he does want to be louder, but that's not who we are, and we can't let other people tell us who we are and how we should be.
I think we do look at other people a lot and think, I wish I could just be like that. And we just have to stop that.
Yeah.
Even when he was little, I remember him saying to me, so Ari has severe dyslexia, and he is killing it. I mean, he was on Dean's List this year at school. I mean, he's killing it.
All of your kids are killing it right now.
All my kids are killing it. But he, like, it just doesn't matter, like, what he was doing. So he said when he was younger, he said, I would give up, and he was super athletic, still is. I would give up being good at sports if I could be a good reader. And that was like a huge statement, right? I mean, he's like 8 years old saying that. But we always think we want to be somebody else, something else. And we don't. We need to be who we are. We need to just focus on.
We need to have these conversations, because all I wanted to be when I was Ari's age was athletic.
Right.
Like, I would love to have been on a sports team and fit in and been good at it and get like a goal like that. But like, that's not who I am.
Right. And we need to embrace who we are. And so it starts with dealing with our anxiety and embracing our anxiety, right? Like
embracing it and figuring, honestly, like the best advice I can give is like, your life does not have to be this way. You don't have to live with all of these symptoms and the irrational thoughts. I'm not going to say they're going to go away. They don't, but they get better.
And you also know how to deal with things. And when you start talking about it, like it brings a whole different lens, right?
Yes. I mean, the one thing I think I have inherited the most from you is I talk about everything. I talk about in law school, you're not really supposed to talk about your grades. I talk about my grades. Who cares? I talk about the fact that I have extra time. I talk about the fact that I have a stomach disease that makes it impossible to control my bathroom habits. I talk about everything because...
Why'd you say that so politely?
Honestly, I don't know.
Like, have I ever heard you say
I don't know. That was very kind of myself to me. Yeah, I can't control when I shit and where I shit, so it just is what it is. But you never like, if I could say things to my younger self and been as open as I'm now with my younger self, I feel like I would have struggled so much less. I would have been so much less embarrassed with who I am. And no one should be embarrassed with who they are. I think embarrassment is irrational, and it's probably my least favorite emotion and probably one of my least favorite words. Being told that you're embarrassing, feeling like you're embarrassing, telling someone else you're embarrassing. Let's just get rid of that.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, everyone struggles. There's not one person on this planet that doesn't struggle with something. So, and You have no idea what anybody else is going through. You can never walk a day in their shoes. And so when you think about it that way, I mean, from the second we wake up, we start judging. Like, why are we judging ourselves? Why are we judging other people? It really is just about being the best person we can be.
Yeah.
And it's acknowledging
You know
what we
what?
struggle with.
It goes back to a conversation Dad and I, we were all having at dinner the other night. And it's also about surrounding. Oh, speak of the devil. He literally called just as I said his name. That was crazy.
He called me and
Oh,
I clicked.
I text. Oh, maybe I didn't send that.
No.
We were podcasting text. He was talking about his best friend that he's had since 8th grade. And he was like, you know what? We may be very different, but the way we share love is the important part, and the way that they've always been there for each other. And I think that is, the important part is in being confident in yourself, but also having that support system. And you might be like, what's the island of lost toys? Like a group of people that don't really make sense together, but those are your people.
Yeah. And be proud of
And that's been the most important part, I think, finding my people.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me what your calendar says. That was a very fun conversation.
That was. I'm
about
glad we talked
it.
about it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we've been like on the edge of this conversation though since coming home and being like, Mom, you're being reactionary about stuff. Mom, you're being reactionary. And it's just like, these are good for us. These are, shout out to us for being able to have open and honest conversations without fear. Anyways, you can't fix other people and you can't make them fix themselves. Period. End of statement.
You can't. That's absolutely correct. You can open their eyes to certain things. So today you opened my eyes to maybe I'm just not stressed. Maybe I actually do have anxiety, and I see my doctor next week, and that'll be a conversation to say, okay.
And
You know what? I do stress a lot about a lot of things, and maybe my not sleeping at night is related to that, and my never-ending to-do list, and thinking I have to do everything a certain way. So
YOLO, you only live once. I know that's so stupid to say, but we have to enjoy this life that we have. And bogging yourself down when I promise you there is a better future, it's not worth it.
I agree. Confidence tip. Confidence doesn't mean you never feel anxious. It means you trust yourself to move forward even when anxiety tags along. You can be shaking and still be strong. That's good.
That was good.
Thanks for joining us on Her Unshakable Confidence. Always remember, you are unshakable.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Her Unshakable Confidence with Simone and Olivia Canego. We hope this episode has made your day just a little bit brighter and given you the inspiration you need to confidently go about your week. Always remember to be authentically you. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And feel free to connect with them on Instagram at Simone Canego and at Olivia Canego. Till next time.